Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the Taiko World Cup 2025. We have the beginning of the round of 16, so we're going to be kicking it off with the match between Singapore, Seed 4, and Indonesia, Seed 13. I am Teasel, joined by DryoDX. Hello.
Hello. Been a while since I've been here for some TWC action.
Yeah, this is both of our first matches this year. So we were both off last week.
Yeah, but we're here now, and we're here to watch this very, very exciting match. Got the battle of the red flags, the red and white flags, I should say.
Yeah, absolutely.
One is a little,
only
one is a moon, and I think some stars.
The moon. Yeah, the moon and stars is the only difference.
Yeah, I'm not gonna go any further than that. I'm not up to date on my flag lore.
But yeah, this one is looking pretty exciting because I think Singapore came out and surprised everyone with getting Seed 4. Like, everyone kind of knows that, you know, with these kind of players, they have a lot of good potential, but I think everyone was just kind of a bit too focused on everyone else and then Singapore just crept in there and one of the highest seeded teams here. So, and Indonesia is a team that has gotten top 3 before. So there's a lot of different dynamics going on. Indonesia has kind of brought back a couple of their really strong players for this year as well. So while it does look like Singapore may have kind of a very strong advantage here, especially if you take a look at the Twitch pick'ems, which is like 300 something thousand in favor of Singapore and then 13k for Indonesia. There's, you know, I definitely think Indonesia still has a shot at least getting a couple of points, and maybe if Singapore aren't playing quite on their game today, I think Indonesia could possibly take it.
Hidden one being the ban from Indonesia.
Makes sense. I took a look at the scores from each team last week, and Singapore had a very, very good showing on Hidden One, so no point chancing that against them.
I think it's interesting the thing you brought up about people not seeing Singapore. At least in my mind, in previous years, Singapore has always been a very, very solid team. But like you said, for them to crack top 4 in seeding this time is crazy. Like, I feel like they've normally been like 6 to 8.
Yeah,
they've just leveled up, I guess.
Down. And I don't even know if they had a team last year. So it's kind of like another reason why. Let's see. Yeah, they didn't have a team last year, so that's kind of another reason why they were kind of off people's radars a bit, I think.
Yeah, I guess that's fair.
And then, yeah, 23, they had a much weaker team, so it's been a couple of years since they've had their strongest, best players. Yeah, Nomad 3, getting rid of the tech seems reasonable. Indonesia does have some very strong players, especially within those more kind of complicated skill sets, so let's see where they start off with. I feel like I'm not fully well versed in these teams enough to guide towards what kind of picks I'll be making. Also, I've just made a mistake. Nomad 3 is speed, not tech. So yeah, it still seems decent.
For the record, I saw the artist name and believed you because 96 Glass, at least in my experience, is a very, very technical artist. But I guess also at the same time, it tends to be very, very fast tech, so it makes sense.
Yeah. So it's whatever. But one thing I do like to see is that Nomad 4, our gimmick map, is open.
It's just a matter of will it be picked.
Yeah, this year it is, instead of kind of going all out with editing and notepads and everything, it's just much more focused on kind of SV and reading. So it's like kind of going back a couple of years in terms of how we approach and treat it.
The gimmick maps of old. Yeah. Before we started to do crazy things, because we didn't think that Score V2 would allow us to do crazy things.
But I think one of the interesting things about that is it means that because people have been practicing that kind of proper skill set in like crazy SV reading for so many years, it's almost more difficult again.
I was never very good at the highest level gimmick charts in tournaments, so a return to form would have been great for me.
Yeah. But But we're going to be starting this one off with the free mod 1 pick from Singapore.
Long chart, huh? Maybe I'm just too used to other games. Been very long since I've been too far into Taiko, so
to be fair,
I'm used to the other games where the longest chart you see is like 230, and you're like, man, that's long.
Yeah, I think generally the pools have gotten a bit shorter over time. Like, you know, we used to see no mod 1s that were like 4 or 5 minutes long, but you don't really see that too often these days. Like,
yeah,
you rarely see something that's going over 3.5 minutes, I would say.
Yeah, I feel like, at least in my experience, 3.5 is the general limit. The only things that would really break past it would be, like you said, a no mod 1, or occasionally a no mod 6, I believe, with a lot of streams.
Ah, yes, yeah. It kind of turns into your TB Lite almost.
Mm-hmm. Just stamina chart.
Alright, so with this one being free mod 1? No. Oh, no, I'm looking at the grand finals of 2023. That's why I was confused. What year is this? 25. Okay, yeah, like, with this one, it's kind of interesting with the free mod since we have shrunk it down to only having 2. So, I think it's generally kind of the more consistency-esque one, and it's kind of accessible to both mods, really, from what I remember about this map. As it's kind of a couple of things here and there to trip people up, but I feel like with all the players, with the players that I'm seeing up here, like, they shouldn't be like having issues with this.
Always nice to have free mods that aren't like terrible to play with mods, where you just kind of like focus a bit more on accuracy rather than having to like study the chart so you can not get destroyed by the fast part with HR or the really slow part with hidden.
Yeah, we'll introduce those later on in the tournament.
Yeah. And generally free mod 2 tends to have that stuff as well, but
yeah. Here we go.
And that's a lot of mods on the side of Singapore.
It sure is.
We have 3 on the side of Indonesia right now. We'll see. We have 5 in total. So only 1 mod difference between the 2 teams.
Yeah, Sarah choosing to play it safe with just hard rock, but sometimes that's genuinely the best thing to do. You know, you want to maximize the score that you're getting, and if adding on the extra mod is going to give you worse score, don't use it. So it does give Singapore an advantage of an extra 60,000 score or so to work with.
Yeah, which, from my understanding, is about 2% in accuracy, assuming FC.
Roughly, yeah. But, of course, Singapore have a harder time here. They need to be more consistent, keep that accuracy high, and not find too many misses.
But Wally is actually having the first misses from these fairly awkward timings. Very hard to read with HGHR.
Yeah, the accuracy falling down a bit into the kind of mid-97s, but still pretty good.
Yeah, already seeing a 40,000 point lead for Singapore is not what you want if you're an Indonesian fan.
Yeah, interestingly, when Singapore played a free mod last week, Larard didn't play with any mods. He just played a no mod. So I think perhaps they were maybe hiding their skill sets a bit, but I mean, everyone knows Larard well enough to know that would be easy.
I was gonna say. And I feel like, especially with these higher seeded teams in these earlier pools, you kind of just expect them to all go HDHR anyway.
Yeah. Still 5 full combos on the board. Walper still just, you know, like building up that combo, reaching 400 now. Accuracy is a wee bit low, but
back into the section that made them miss, though.
Yeah, absolutely.
And they miss at the very end of it.
But I think having that one less mod as well is hurting Indonesia quite a lot. You know, with a score difference of 120,000. All of our full combo 2 mod players are approaching 750. Sarah on the one mod, still only about 720.
About a quarter of the song left. So, barring absolute catastrophe, this will be looking like it's going to Singapore.
Does look like it. It's a very, very strong start from Singapore. Really high accuracy. Full modding. Oh, XK with a miss for Indonesia. Going into the outro now. Yeah, I don't think there's any possibility for Indonesia to come back from this one. I think it's pretty safe to call this Singapore's first point. So very, very well picked from them. Three-way full combo with the hidden hard rock. 9, 12, and 18 100s. Sarah with a really nice full combo as well on the 15 100 hard rock FC. And XK with the 14 100 1 miss. Walper doing pretty good as well. Only 4 misses in 2 different places.
Yeah, the whole 2 different places part is the biggest.
Unfortunately, yeah.
Well, I feel like I remember once hearing that where you miss doesn't matter that much in Scorpio 2, but I don't really know. I'm not gonna lie. The scoring system gets really weird when it comes to misses.
Yeah, I think it's more about kind of to do with like the combo cap being 400.
Yeah.
So if you miss in the first 50 combo and FC the rest, you're going to have more score than someone that missed in the middle of the map. Just because you're going to have that max combo for longer. But here we go, here's No Mod 4, the gimmick map that we were talking about. And if you've not seen it yet, you'll kind of get a better idea of what we mean when it comes to lots of silly SV reading. Things get pretty wavy, and it's very difficult to follow. It takes a lot of practice. This map is also littered with doublets from my memory. Very difficult to keep up with the time with, especially when you can't see the timing. You just have to really feel it and kind of get in beat with the music. So we might have a swap in for Indonesia. Yeah, Indonesia must be feeling very confident on this one if they're willing to pick it first.
Yeah. Picking a gimmick first is always scary, but on the other hand, it is kind of nice to get it out of the way.
Absolutely. It means you can kind of practice it just over and over before your match and then still have it fresh in your mind. So it's going to be a bigger question of have Singapore been practicing this one? Since they haven't banned it, the answer is probably, but have they practiced it more than Indonesia? It does look like they're still figuring out who to put into that other slot. I have quite a few good options.
Apparently, Odds is saying they have not played this map. If I'm reading the chat correctly.
Alright, they're waiting for one of their players. They're having to use their timeout to get their player in. It's not a good sign.
They just arrived.
Oh, okay. I don't know if that's going to count as the official timeout usage, but... Because... Wait, I think it probably will, because the timer was set.
Yeah.
My prediction is that Ray was probably practicing the map. We should also give Indonesia a bit of an advantage because Blorar, Zetchi, and Odsy haven't swapped out. Unless Prehistoria was playing the last map, I can't remember.
It is appearing that it does count for their tiebreaker, or their timeout, which makes sense.
Okay, yeah, Singapore haven't swapped out any of their players, so less practice in.
Cash back on the timeout.
No, unfortunately, once you start that timer, it can't be refunded. You can't bank the rest. So you need to be careful with how you use it.
Here we go. Finish your jump
Right,
scare.
the map starts off somewhat tame, and then it picks up very quickly. Ray being the only player to pick up 100s in this intro so far, but that could just be nerves loading into the map.
Said she just got one as well.
Here we go. A lot of the overlaps make it difficult to figure out what the patterning and timing is. Ray is the first player to miss. Singapore with a score lead of around 40k. A bit of a midsection. Alright, we go into the slowdown. Singapore very clearly practiced this one, and Zetchi misses just as I say that. But keeping the accuracy really high, Walper finds misses of their own. We still have a double S from Borarg though. XK and Odyssey on 1 or 2 100s each at most.
I think that's one, but I'm not certain.
Yeah, we're gonna have to see some big drops from Singapore if Indonesia are gonna be wanting to win their own first pick here. There's only a third of the map left to go. 75k is a lot of score to make up.
Another
unfortunate break from Walper.
Alright, picking up a couple 100s, but
yeah. This is looking like it's going to be a very early breakpoint in favor of Singapore. Ray does pick up some misses in the final PI as well. And in this outro, I don't think there's enough going on to swap the score back over. There we have it. A combined total 8 to 100s from Singapore, paired with 2 misses from Zetchi.
Just a single 100 from Oddsie coming in. Very impressive.
XK not far behind with 3 100 as well. Walpurgis also showing pretty good there, over 98 accuracy. Just 8 misses, and good accuracy as well, only 35 100s. For a map that is so difficult to read and requires quite a lot of learning, they have done well.
On to Singapore's next pick.
Yeah, Singapore with a very strong advantage here. Could turn this into a 3-0 situation on their next pick. It does seem like going free mod 2 would probably be like a decent shot here.
Yeah,
they were able to outmod Indonesia on the previous one, but they've opted to go for Hidden 2.
I know Hidden 2 is a very different skill set than Hidden 1, but given their performance on Hidden 1, they're also still probably pretty dang good at Hidden 2.
Absolutely. Yeah, it tends to play more into a bit of a speed skill set. Often has a wee bit of reading aspect in there as well.
And a fairly short song at that, 2 minutes 7 seconds.
That's more like what we want to see. Indonesia swaps around the roster a bit. We have Sarah and Kames coming in. What is this map? Fast hidden? How long have you been playing this game?
This is a couple other picks have like shifted around. Like I feel like there was a time correction. I think there was one tournament where they switched Nomad 2 and 3 for some reason, but Hidden 2 has always been fast hidden.
Yeah, I know.
There's like a Hard Rock 2 is always fast Hard Rock. That's just how it is.
I know in TWC 2021, it's like, oh, here's your first pool for like group stage, and the first map was a tech map, like Nomad 1. Never was it was this.
Sounds like my kind of tournament.
XK with an almost immediate miss.
I was almost going to start talking about mod advantage. I forgot. This is not free mod 2.
Yeah. Just having a tough time adjusting into the map, but everyone's, other than that, still holding to a full combo. Still 2 double S's from Singapore.
Yeah, the only real difference pretty much just being that miss couple 100s.
Yeah, everyone looking very, very comfortable in this one. Score difference is 22 in favor of Singapore, but if any of their players find misses on some of these, like 1-3 sections, maybe just misread something, that could pretty quickly swing over to Indonesia.
Unfortunately for Indonesia, yeah, it's a short map, so they don't have too much time for that miss to come in.
It's never good when you're having to wait for your opponent to find a mistake. Because if they just never make one, there's nothing you can do. There's still 2 double S's from Singapore, and Prehistoria only has a handful of 100 themselves. Odyssey drops the double S themselves, 100. We're going to need to see a lot more difference than that. Final Kiai, it's coming up to the end of the map. Singapore just looked too strong to be dropping anything.
Yeah, and Blorarg in particular, coming out with an SS.
Odyssey with the 1-100, and XK with the 0-100, 1 miss.
Incredible.
And of course, Prehistoria 6-100 as well, Kames 11, and Sarah 24. Everyone getting over 99% accuracy is very, very good. It is a very comfortable map, but when you're also
XK missed on a ghost tap.
You love to see it. Fortunately, it didn't make the difference.
Yeah, especially with it being 24 notes into the chart.
But that gives Indonesia a really important decision to make here. They cannot afford to lose another breakpoint here, otherwise Singapore will be in match point. Therefore they've got to pick carefully, and they're going to go for Tech Nomad 2. In previous years we've had Mario, Luigi, Bowser. Step aside, it's time for Donkey Kong.
This bit continues.
Of course it does. And we have some roster changes. Odyssey swapping out for Zetchi. We see Walpurgis come back in instead of Sarah, and a mysterious third player for Indonesia.
Hey, we at least have Donkey Kong in the background this time. It's not just named randomly.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, the first time it happened, because I think that was last year, didn't the song mention Mario or something like that?
I don't remember at all.
I feel like there was
Probably though.
I feel like there was an actual reason for it, and then the bit just continued.
And yeah, Ray coming in for Indonesia. Even though I'm not quite the best at this skill set, I find this map really, really fun and challenging to play.
Here we go.
So I'm quite excited to see how these players do on it, because I predict pretty high scores. Especially from Blararg and Zetchi. Thinking back to their run on the tiebreaker a couple of years ago, that was quite techie based. Oh, everyone picking up a huge chain of 100s other than Blararg. This one's pretty tough to get straight into. Ray with an early miss. Prehistoria matching it though, meaning Singapore will be able to take too big of a lead. Yeah, this chart manages to kind of combine swing aspects and tech aspects together, so it creates quite an interesting playing experience. But it means nothing to Blararg still holding on to that double S a third of the way through.
Yeah. At least 6.2 isn't too terrible for these types of patterns.
Absolutely. The score difference has grown a bit to about 16,000, but Indonesia are still holding on really strong.
And we're finding a miss at the very end of that stream.
It was a clean miss, but it does reset the combo. And once again, Indonesia are really having to wait for Singapore to make some more mistakes. There was the earlier miss from Prehistoria, but they're going to need to see more, especially some accuracy drops, as all of the players in Indonesia are now below 99 accuracy. Well, Kames is now just above it. Blararg missing. That's a good start. And again, Zetchi missing too.
The combo advantage is actually in favor of Indonesia
yes,
now.
It's going over. Indonesia have the lead. But Ray misses though on the stream. There isn't much map left to go. Walpurgis also misses. Unfortunately, losing all of the advantage they had. It's back over 30,000. With Kames missing as well towards the outro. Difference of 60,000. It might be over.
And indeed.
And Singapore winning that one with 78,000 score lead. The players on Singapore did find the mistakes that Indonesia needed to take the point. But Indonesia then matched those mistakes on their own.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
very
losing
close.
the lead.
But
interestingly, 0 full combos.
Rare to see that in the round of 16 pick.
Absolutely. Especially when we have a Seed 4 team here. And Seed 13, this is the winner's bracket match. But Singapore is now on match point. It's now their pick. They just need one to win. Indonesia will now need to get 4 breakpoints in a row to take it to a tiebreaker. It's going to be a very tough uphill battle. So we'll see where they start off with. Probably taking their time to pick carefully, as, you know, they have such a strong advantage, they don't want to start kind of throwing it away. Don't let the thread unravel. And we're going to go with something a bit speedy, which is kind of interesting, considering they banned Mod 3.
TT is a whole different ball game anyway.
True. The accuracy is... It's almost like you're playing a different game.
You really are just playing a different game. It's not even comparable.
Now we see M. Crow coming in for the first time for Indonesia. XK coming back in as well. Looks like Zechi's going to be swapping it for someone else in Singapore. I guess very quickly while they swap in their player. If you're a fan of Singapore, Indonesia, or any of the other 32 teams that qualified for this year's tournament, you can go ahead to the Osu store and buy a banner for your profile showing your support. For $2.50 US, you can help support the tournament, the prize pools, just everything that goes into it. And, you know, it can go towards the next ones, this one, but it just keeps it kind of to the highest quality that we possibly can. And of course, if you also pick a banner for the team that wins the tournament, you get to keep it for the whole year. So if you just go over and check it out, and even if you haven't decided who you want yet, they'll be available for the entire tournament, and you'd even be able to buy a banner for a team that has been knocked out. Alright, Odsy coming in for Singapore, making up Lark, Prehistoria, Odsy for Singapore, and Caves, I'm Crow, and XK for Indonesia. Possibly the last pick of the match. Let's see how it goes.
Here we go. I'm glad we're getting our state-mandated Toho quota filled here.
Has to happen.
Off of a theme we don't normally see either. Not even from a game necessarily. .240 BPM being the speed for our DT2. Not incredibly fast, but as we mentioned, with OD6 DT, it almost feels like a completely different game.
Absolutely. And we're seeing the density kind of stay fairly consistent as well. So stamina is also going to be an aspect that comes into play.
Yeah. Consistent density honestly almost feels better for me with DT, just because, you're never getting weird rhythms in your head, really. It's all like 3-note, 5-note
you stay on
patterns.
the beat. Keeps it more simple. And of course, as we see, everyone is still full comboing a third of the way through. Never mind.
Look what you've done.
XA, stop missing now.
And now we're getting to the weird rhythms. Weird meaning not triplets.
Pretty much, yeah. But things are looking really, really strong for Singapore once again on their own pick. A score lead of 70,000 halfway through. Accuracies of everyone is really, really good actually. Everyone other than XK is, significantly above 99%. And I'm sure if we take a look at XK's score at the end of the map, there'll probably be close to as many misses as there are 100s. But once again, we're waiting for, Indonesia's waiting for Singapore to find mistakes.
Yeah.
And they're all still full combo with very high accuracy. So I just don't know if it's going to happen. Coming towards the edge of the map now, that score difference is not changing away from 70,000. Couple of small accuracy drops from Singapore, but it's going to need to be way more than that.
And
with the final spinner, Singapore wins their 5th and final point, securing the victory and advancing on into the quarterfinals winners.
6 100s from Blarag is insane for a DT pick.
It's crazy how close everyone else's is. 22, 25, 21, 20,
Yeah.
22. Just those 8 misses from XK and the slightly better accuracy from Blarag is pretty much the only difference.
Yeah.
And it led to such a significant score difference as well. That's how important these kind of accuracy differences are.
Especially on DT, since there's 1.12 million points. Even
Absolutely.
the slightest mistake can have such a bigger impact than you're used to seeing on like a nomad pick.
So this is the point where I normally would say Singapore is now going to be going against X team and Indonesia is now going to be going against Y team. But this was only the first match of this weekend, so we actually have no idea who they're going to be going against. We can make our speculations based off of what the bracket is, but I feel like that would take too long and be too complicated. So how about we just introduce our next match to you, which will be Taiwan versus Turkey, which, funnily enough, after saying that, the winner will go against Singapore.
Incredible.
So this is a Seed 5 versus Seed 12 matchup. And that will be taking place at 15 UTC, 23 minutes from now.
Yeah.
So we'll be taking a short break, but we'll be back very shortly.
Yep. See you guys in just over 20 minutes.
watched it fall away. It slipped right through my fingers. It slipped right through my fingers. It slipped right through my fingers. You said never let me go. I watched it fall away.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Osu Taiko World Cup 2025. We're gonna keep the matches running for just 1 more hour. It's gonna be Taiwan versus Turkey, a pretty big seeding difference team, so probably also not gonna be an extremely close one. And the winners of this match will be facing the previous match winner, Singapore. So I'm Yongin, and joining with me today, I got Kasa, who also Kasa last match, Driax.
Yo, I've returned. Fairly close seeding. I mean, the previous match was 4 versus 13. This is 5 versus 12. Though I guess to be fair, if you want a close match, that may not inspire confidence based on the 5-0 we just watched. But hey, the seeds are closer. Match could be closer.
True.
I'm always
Honestly,
rooting for a close match.
On paper, the top 6 teams are just so much further apart compared to all the other teams. So I'm not surprised if it's also not going to be like an extremely close one. Especially we already see some Turkish player were not showing confidence in the chat before the match even start. So hopefully, we can at least get some closer match.
It appears we're getting the same. Okay. Yeah, we are literally getting a run back of the previous match. The same bands and the same first pick.
Yeah, that's what happens when you get two really
Even the same color teams.
two really close two really close tournament teams. For example, Taiwan is really close to Singapore. Maybe not in the later stage, but for now they are like basically can play everything. And then strongest skill set is probably like skill caps and such, but also good at hidden hard rock and stuff like that. It's mostly about Turkey being not so good at the HD skill set, and they are really good.
Fruko supposedly HDHR site reading.
Yeah, they're going up against 3-way hidden hard rocks on paper.
Yeah, I would not be surprised to see that. Especially when we're this early in the tournament, round of 16. Especially from these single-digit seeded teams, you tend to see quite a bit of 6 mod.
Yeah. However, Taiwan is definitely one of the weaker teams in Free mod for, I would say, a super strong high-seeded team. But again, we're in round 16 stage, and they can probably play just fine. They got Yuemao, Ariada, and Polamo. 3 really strong players.
You say Taiwan are tryharding now. I sure hope they'd be tryharding in the tournament that they're presumably hoping to win.
True.
We'd see Neural G being Seoul Hard Rock. So 1 mod advantage to Taiwan, 60,000 points, about 2% accuracy assuming FC. So with that 1 less mod, Turkey will have to be sure that they can keep their accuracy up to compete with the mod.
Yeah, we'll never ever see Nuroji put on in like any tournaments. Like, this guy is completely allergic to hidden. So I'm not surprised he's going with a singular mod. Samoa going hidden hard rock is a very big surprise, and he's paying for it right now. First one to find a break. Rico also with a hidden hard rock mod on of course, but he and Samoa is side reading, so we'll see how it plays out well for them. So far, not a good start.
Yeah, I would not want to be sight reading these rhythms. You may out finding a miss. More picking one up just at the very end of the pattern. That 30k lead now for Taiwan. Polamo missing. Taiwan's accuracy, honestly, is not looking that great in comparison.
Yeah, they
pretty much just off the back of Zamora's misses that they have their lead.
They're not really a hidden hard rock team, honestly. But they can still put on hidden hard rock. However, it does look a bit rough at the start of the first map, so dropping quite a bit of misses left and right. But again, it's because of Seymour's low accuracy and bunch of misses is making this match quite a bit closer than what we anticipated, with two players side reading hitting Hara.
Yeah, I feel like if they had just gone for one mod, this match, like, I don't know if they'd be winning necessarily, but it'd be a lot closer.
Looking at the scores, I think we should be getting around Neuroji's accuracy and also one of the counts, and I think they're actually matching up against Uemon and Palamo, so yeah, it's actually going to be very close if they were FC with a singular mod, but Teriyama is just slightly bit above Furuko, so Taiwan is probably still in the lead if that was the case. A bit of a weird whip from here, it's going to be tripping up some more again.
I think the biggest thing, the interesting thing to me off of this is that, considering this was, I believe, Taiwan's first pick, they're not looking as strong as I would have guessed for a first pick.
Yeah, honestly, they are probably one of the weakest free mod team in the entirety of top 6, let's say.
Cool. Neural and Zamor both missing.
However, the other team is not really an HD favorite team, so any more reading maps they would kind of struggle on. And there goes another claim for both Turkish players. So there are no combo, no accuracies left for Turkey, and Taiwan will safely taking their first point, actually larging their gap to 20,000 points.
Lots of misses coming in. Harrieta finally dropping their full combo, unfortunately just at the very end of the chart. Luckily for them though, that miss does not matter for the score difference. 212,210 being the final difference in favor of Taiwan.
Wait, is that really not a lag miss? Did 4 players just miss on the same note?
A lot of them certainly did.
Interesting.
Cleo is saying that they got killed by Offset. But Hard Rock 2 being our next selection. Our speedier of the Hard Rocks, I presume. I can't say I'm too familiar with Neural or Zamor, but I know Furuko has definitely been a Hard Rock player for a long time, from what I remember.
Furuko can play basically every mod.
This is also true. Furuko is in fact just old is not the right term. They've played for a long time and are thus very good at the game.
Veteran, let's say.
That veteran really is a good word. That is the word I was looking for. Thank you.
No worries. But yeah, he is really good at slow HD as well.
Yeah. And according to the chat, Neural can stream quite high HR, so it should be, from their words, good for them.
Yeah, Simora also pretty decent at Hard Rock as well. Usually I would assume Magif joining instead. Usually it's Furuko, Neuroji, and Magif on like a speed Hard Rock, but I'm not too sure it's Magif here today, and that might actually trip up their chance even more for at least getting a point.
Yeah, we do see a Monkey D. Luffy coming in for Taiwan, but the side of Turkey remaining the same. Here we go.
Not impossible to rain pick for Turkey. They are pretty good at the skill set after all. However, this map has a bit of BPM slowdown, and if you are a flat-out hardcore player and has not played the map before, who kinda hates reading slow, you might actually get tripped off from the BPM change, because I did the first time I played, so we'll see anyone actually misses on that. Three very strong top rock players for Taiwan team. Taiwan, they got Yuemao, Monkey D. Luffy, and Palamo, all are extremely good at this map after all. Of course, Furuko as well, but Furuko usually is more associated as a slow HD player, but Hard Rock, he can do it just fine. So is Neuroji, Zamor as well, so a very close back so far, especially on how it's not extremely hard to see.
Yeah. Accuracy test. 215 is not too hard for players of this caliber.
Everyone and knows it. BPM changes.
Yeah. A couple players on Turkey picking up a couple 100s. But Zamor finding a miss.
It's a slow session, man.
Yeah, certainly a very weird difference in rhythm.
Yeah, it was a BPM drop, and being a hard rock player that usually doesn't listen to too much about slow SV, or too much of slow SV, may get tripped up by that pattern. Some of these quick SV changes, and then offhand 166 is going to claim some more, and because of the accuracy dip from both Neuroji and Samoa by a tiny bit, actually makes the lead striking quite big for Taiwan. That's actually able to cover 2 miss difference, I believe.
And now it's pretty much over. Is that I believe that was an SS, if I saw correctly. Yes, Monkey D. Luffy with the SS. 2 100s from Yumeo and only 5 from Palermo. Very, very impressive scores on the side of Taiwan. They did better on this than their own pick. But still, the other 3 scores on the side of Turkey are still very impressive in their own right. 12 100s from Neuroji and Zamor. Zamor just unfortunately with the 1 miss, and 3 from Faruko. Very, very good.
Yeah, I can see why they also perform well on this pick. Like, they're also not really a free mob team, but they're just abusing the other team's weakness.
GT2 being the next selection. Once again, we're getting our Toho quota for this pool. Love to see it.
Level time 2. Honestly, this is very awkward pick from Taiwan, honestly. Especially you are against a team is like just extremely good at like speed. However, this week's DT2 is still 240 BPM.
Not terribly fast, but as me and Teasel were saying in the last match, when you play DT, it almost feels like a completely different game. The accuracy just feels so much different.
Yeah, OD6 DT though, so that is probably around OD 9.5 around there, so it's still
I think that sounds right, yeah. Yeah, short answer, too high. I can't do it. I'm bad. I'm terrible at DT. I don't know what it is. I was literally a hard rock player at my peak, and I could not DT for the life of me.
It's just a weird offset that causes on your PC.
I guess so. The first note lag claims another victim.
Hopefully that's not the case.
Yeah, hopefully not now. And I think I remember they fixed that in an update a couple years ago. I could be wrong though.
Not really.
All right,
based
well,
on
I tried.
the BPM style.
Oh yeah, you're right. I forgot we did eventually figure out why it happened. But here we go. You have clock coming in for the side of Taiwan. Turkey sticking with the same set of 3.
Yeah, very interesting roster swap from Taiwan team with the Harry coming in. Well, I mean, Harry should be able to play every map, but Clock joining in for, I would say, the other team's strength is kind of surprising, because Turkey is actually pretty good at speed, like I mentioned, especially this BPM, and there are like not many 1-6 and reading heavy stuff. Turkey should be completely fine. Look at Fuko's accuracy right now. And again, they also performed extremely well on last week's DT tool, so kind of surprised that Taiwan decided to let Clock show up on the pick like this.
Neural did pick up a miss, which is largely It's not the only reason we're seeing a lead to Taiwan. Taiwan does have slightly better accuracy overall. But that's mostly just because of the miss from Earl. But it's better to have that miss be early than later.
Yeah. For now, Clock's accuracy is around dipping below everyone else, just slightly below Neuroji, even finding a miss, but because of the combo that brings, they are still in the lead, but it's closing in, especially as Clock dropping few more 100s. Ariada, Fruitco, and Monkey all around the same 100 count. And
Zamora picking up a lot of 100s here. The doubles not being kind to them, I guess. And even finding a miss because of them.
A lot of score drop from Turkey. That's giving quite a bit of a good lead to Taiwan, but it's not safe just yet. Any big drop from their players could have definitely swapped it back, especially with Clock's accuracy being a lot lower than most of the board.
Yeah, still just under a minute left of this song, so anything could happen. 60k is not that big of a difference on a DT chart.
But this map is a bit longer than every other map in the pool, so 600k may be a bit larger than some of the other maps, especially this map. Quite dense.
It's still shorter than Free Mod 1, so...
You're actually correct. Not the same about density though.
Yeah. This chart definitely feels longer.
Still a really good accuracy from Harriet and Monkey D. Luffy, beating everyone else in the board. Clock supporting Taiwan as much as possible. Not a bad score either. I mean, FC in this map is still quite impressive, and he does it.
98 FC on DT is certainly a good score. And that will be another point for Taiwan. 5 100s from both Monkey D. Luffy and Harrieta is insane consistency.
Yeah, they're
And
so
Furuka
good.
with only 9 as well.
And you're so good at Egg. Clock being the new upcoming player for Taiwan. Again, when you look at the roster, you know that he is probably one of the weakest member in the team. I mean, Trial is basically this side. It's the another person on the team, and he thankfully made the team and still able to show up on DT2 FCing. So proof that why at least he should be in the team. So now next pick from Turkey, and I would say that's probably the best 2 maps gone for Turkey.
Nomad 5 being the selection. That's I mean, I would say a different chart from last match, which is technically correct, but we also had Hard Rock 2 picked, so seeing 2 different picks so far. Some good old Fraser Edwards.
It's gonna be streams this time. Stream
37.
again. No 1-4. I mean, no 1-4. What am I talking about? No 1-6. So it's actually okay. To be fair, that's actually 1-1-6. I don't know did the players from Turkey practice it because that stream it's kind of mono bursty and that doesn't play too well to Neuroji play style. Hopefully he practiced it, but that's like
unless you're saying it's a 1-6 mono stream, it's only 185 BPM, so it's not too bad.
You need to count though because it's a K and then
Yeah.
5 down and then 1 cat, so it's like you need to count it.
Good old Taika and Satsujin type patterning.
Yes. And we see Clock leaving the lobby and Plemo joining in. So 3 very competent stream player from Taiwan. But so be said about the players from Turkey. Zamora, known for his streaming ability, even last year he was like close to a 4-digit. He was still playing some of the stream maps for Turkey.
Yeah, these triplet patterns in these streams can be very, very difficult. I know, personally, I struggle with them a lot, but Monkey D. Luffy actually picks up a miss.
It's the first time we see Turkey in the lead, so that's a good start for them. And they hit it. Players from Turkey hit it. Nuroji hits the 1-6 pattern. He felt prepared.
Honestly, at least for me, one of the hardest parts of this chart seems to be the scroll velocity seems slightly slow. But that might just be me being hard rock brained, but it picks up for the key eyes, so. So very closely, but Harrieta picks up another miss to keep the lead in Turkey's favor.
Uh-oh. Halfway through the map, and Turkey is the first
But
time in the
Zamor finds a miss.
lead.
A lot of misses.
Oh, it's over. Oh no. That is so
Still have a
big.
minute left.
And 3 more mono. This time they're a lot slower though. Look at Nuroji. He hits it. And honestly, there's not much else left in the map.
With stream patterns like this, anything could happen. But another miss from Zamor makes it a lot harder for Turkey to come back. And
there
Fruko
goes
finding
that.
us as well. Palema trades it back, but
And the only person I said they have a chance to miss is the only one FC the map. I'm sorry, Nuroji. You did a fantastic. That is an anti-curse moment, so good job on the FCing the map. However, because of the slightly low accuracy, you
3
cannot
players with 0 100s.
Yeah, because of his low accuracy, he cannot beat players with the 0 100s. Harry, Polamo, Fruko, all with a couple of misses.
No, it's just those note locks from Zamor being so much accuracy drop for them. But still, Neural with the very impressive FC. Only one in the lobby. Yeah, the DDKK player is the one that the FC'd the mono heavy stream chart.
Good job. And there goes the final, possibly final pick. No more fall from Taiwan. And it's time for SV. And Turkey is known for not liking any type of SV.
Seeing more new players come in.
Yeah, that's map by Nifty, so you know it's gonna be AFV SV. The SV in this map has a lot of structure though, so you technically can just notice how the SV goes and then play it with.
Turkey is saying that none of them have practiced this. Neural has played it with hard rock.
Yeah, this Turkey card has 2 weaknesses. One is hidden, and the other is no more fall. In Taiwan, just straightly pick it at last. We have High Greeks and Clock joining in for Hyriada and Monkey. Like the new addition of the TS Turkey roster, swapping in for Samoa. Usually fill in for these like HD maps and reading heavy maps.
But here we go to match point for Taiwan. Furuko picking up on this.
Yeah, it's not, it's already. And we haven't even went to the SV heavy part.
This is the easy part of the chart. Here
yeah.
we go.
Oh no! Oh,
A lot of people missing.
Flicker is the only one who is actually doing fantastic on the map.
High
Despite being a new
Greeks
assistant.
just dropped SS.
Yeah, that too. But Flicker being the only one performing for the Turkish team, so good job to him. I mean,
Well,
here
that's
comes
sorry.
and no one is voting on this fight except High Greeks. There's no combo on the board except the FC, lone FC from High Greeks, and on a break there from Block Brutal. It's breaks left and right.
Bruka almost below 90 accuracy. Incredible. Picking it up though.
There's also one leftover part left with the funky SV. It's the same stuff happening in the first part, so like the structure is the same. We'll see how they perform on that. Neurog again drops right before it, so there's clock, and here it comes again. And another great drop there from Flicker. So this recall. Here comes some 1-8. But yeah, if it wasn't sealed the deal, it is sealed. Turkey just cannot play these SV reading heavy stuff. Some of their members even dropping down to around 93%. And with that, Taiwan will be moving on forward to the winners bracket of quarterfinals with a lone FC from High Greeks on normal form.
4-100's very, very strong performance to come in. I believe this is the only chart they played this match. And for it to be a 4-100 FC is quite impressive.
Yeah, I mean, that's crazy, but kinda a weaker performance you expect from Taiwan, but again, they are probably against like not an extremely strong opponent just yet. However, next week they definitely need to prepare against Singapore, which just showed phenomenal against Indonesia just an hour ago. And Turkey is not off the tournament just yet. They will be dropping down the loser bracket. Quite frankly, they missed, I would say, their third best player, Magif, today. Samorda picked up some performance, but unfortunately, it just a bit too. Taiwan just a bit too strong, especially when you're down a player and on a 5-player team. So they'll be losing. They'll be dropping down the loser bracket. Not off for them just yet.
Yep. Well, now we have a bit of a break before our next match. I believe the next match is in 2 hours from now, maybe 3. I know it said 3 on the schedule earlier, but I don't know how it rounds yet.
It's
18 UC. Yeah, about 1.5 hours from now? 2.5 hours from now.
Math is hard. But yeah, it's your country, Driox, USA.
Indeed. Unfortunately, I will not be casting the USA match.
But fortunately, hopefully, we do see USA able to play this weekend because last week was a win by default. So it's time for the US players' chance to shine against Finland, though. A very strong early stage team. Some of their players are, I would say, their team got a bit of like a swap, and some of their players were not as active on OSU this year, but they still keep their firepower against USA. Probably, hopefully a closer match, at least on paper. To be that, it's probably a closer match. Not on seeding, but you might get some magic over there in that match. And at the same time, there will be Chile versus the Russian Federation on B stream. I do believe they will be streamed on B stream as well. So two matches happening at the same time.
I do not remember which one is on which stream, but as mentioned, there will be a B stream for the matches that are happening simultaneously, which we see happen at 1 UTC as well.
Yep. So enjoy.
According to the bot, US versus Finland will be B stream.
Yes, I think makes sense. I mean,
And someone's saying the bot is wrong. If you come back here in 2.5 hours, there will be US versus Finland on one stream and Chile versus Russian Federation on another stream.
Yep, so be sure to check out our match again at 18 UTC. 2.5 hours later, and again, hope you guys enjoy this match between Taiwan and Turkey. Unfortunately, 2 sweeps so far, but we'll get closer ones, especially we get closer seedings. My name is Yongin. Joining with me today, we got Driox.
Cheers.
Hope you have a great time. See you in 18 UTC. Goodbye.